Linda, what kind of lending activity are you seeing right now?
Well, those of you who have the packets that were distributed, you'll see I included the giving report, Giving USA, and that will give you all the statistics. I'm happy to say that giving is still happening, and we're seeing increases just about across the board, not only from individuals, but also from corporate entities, foundations. We are seeing, though, that more and more are requiring some kind of evaluation when you ask for funding. They want to know what your expectations are, what you expect to accomplish, and of course in your proposal you need to include how you will achieve those goals. But overall, it looks very good for funding right now. The climate is pretty positive, despite the fact that we're having economic difficulties. Donors want to help, you just have to ask them.
Knock in and ask. Catherine, can you add to that?
Certainly, but certainly we're approaching it from a different standpoint because we work with for-profit businesses. So speaking from our vantage point, we see that actually the demand for loans is still there. People are still looking for financing for their businesses. It's not as acute, I don't think, as it was maybe a year or two ago. However, what I'm not sure about is that businesses no longer need money. I don't think that's the case, but I think some people have just become so discouraged because, we sort of went from the boom times, up until 2008, there were people who were just throwing money at different, at folks in different ways, whether it was from the consumer side or from the business side, and then everything sort of dried up. And a lot of small businesses really went under during that time, between 2009 and 2010. So in 2000, what also was happening during those times is that a lot of other lenders, including micro lenders, from big banks down to micro lenders, folks were actually contracting in terms of the lending that they were giving out. So people who maybe even had what was considered decent credit, the credit scores, suddenly the threshold increased. So folks who were able to get, might have been able to have a, excuse me, let's say a line for $20,000, with their bank. They've been in business for a while, all of a sudden they found that line cut to $5,000. Maybe a dramatic, may sound somewhat dramatic, but those were real stories. A lot of people really, particularly brick and mortar businesses, a lot of people went up because they just did not have the operating capital to pay for their overhead. A lot of the micro lenders tightened their own requirements, so cutting out a lot of startups. Right now, I would say that it's very difficult for a startup business to obtain a loan, even with an SBA guarantee. People are just not lending to startups. So in a situation like that, an organization like Project Enterprise, the need for our services is even more acute because we're one of the few organizations that are still working with startups, even albeit at smaller amounts of capital than some entrepreneurs would like. But I think what we're seeing is that from incredible demand, where the phones were just ringing off the hook. Last year people are sort of getting really cautious and really thinking through whether they can even afford to take out a loan, and they're figuring out how to do more with less. People are not sort of rushing out, at least established businesses are not rushing out, banging down the door for money. They're looking for more technical assistance, they're looking for more training. That's another good thing about Project Enterprise, is that we provide a lot of that as well. Individual work with our entrepreneurs, as well as the opportunity to connect with other business experts throughout the city. So I think those are some of the trends that we're seeing right now.
Thank you.